So we'll kind of introduce ourselves and we'll get started to tell you a little bit about the art of kind of our synthwave vibe for Nodeshifter. So Jan, why don't you introduce yourself?
So I'm Jan Lubeck, and I'm the lead developer here at Bottle Galaxy, and this is our first game. Super excited to show it to everyone.
Not our first application, not our first dive into development, that's for sure, but definitely the first game. So I'm Ryan, and I am the business manager over here for our team at Bottle Galaxy, and we're pumped to be here. So we're going to get started. Kind of a little bit about Nodeshifter. If for anyone who doesn't know anything about Nodeshifter, we're going to kind of take you in a little bit and dive into some of the artwork here. So what is Nodeshifter? Well, we consider it addictive, but that I guess is to be decided. But it's an addictive arcade-style game. Right now, it is out for iOS, and I believe, you tell me, is it next week, this week, that it's coming out for Android?
Yeah, it's already being reviewed on Android, so it should be there very shortly.
So it will be out for Android in the next, I'm going to say days, but you never know, right? But I'm going to say days. It'll be out for Android, so we're super excited for that. So here's kind of the premise. Now, granted, as a mobile game, it is very, kind of a little bit lightweight on story, but there is a little story behind it. So you pilot this DARPA-built digital vessel, and the setting is 1986, and you're defending, the early invention of the computer from these invading aliens, and these aliens are coming in through the computer. So kind of an interesting little premise there. And the whole idea behind the game is you've got these enemies coming in, and you've got to survive wave after wave. So that's a little bit about that, and that's actually some of the art from the game you can see here on the right. So kind of what makes it a little bit unique, every single run is going to be different. We have diverse enemies, all kinds of different enhancements to fight them, and it makes it a little bit challenging throughout. So simple one-handed gameplay. So I always kind of joke around and say, for the porcelain players out there, because I actually like to play games while using the restroom. That's just me, some people are a little more, squeamish about doing that, but I find I get a lot of good game time, especially as I'm waking up, and it's a little freedom from the wife for a little bit. I can play. We've got all kinds of different enhancements. It almost has like a roguelike feel in that way, in that every run you're kind of getting different enhancements, and it really adds to the gameplay here. And we also have different level ups as you advance throughout for our more veteran gamers out there. So kind of how do you actually play the game? Kind of the core concept is again quite simple, but essentially you've got a central hex that you're trying to protect. In that central hex, enemies are going to be coming in from all sides of your screen, and they are going to be pathing themselves towards that hex. And if they hit your hex, you lose a life. But don't worry, you do have some tools to try and stop them from getting there. So we have something called the orbit, and a node that circles around that orbit, as you can kind of see here to the right. And you control the size of that orbit, and you control the direction of the orbit. You may also get some additional power-ups along the way that you can tap at the bottom of your screen that will allow you to do all kinds of interesting things. So, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to let Jan kind of show off a little bit of that gameplay so you can really understand how that is going to work. So, Jan, do you want to pull up some of that gameplay?
Sure.
All right, I think you're live here.
Okay. So this menu, let's start just so that you can hear me better. Let's turn the music off. super techno 80s kind of music.
That's part of the beauty of it, man. That's the vibe. It feels good.
So this is how you start. Well, maybe I can start, unless you already talked about it, but we could even start with the tutorial.
Yeah, we should actually. That way, it kind of walks you through the whole thing.
You might see a few glitches here and there because this is actually my own development environment, which I'm in the middle of adding some new features. But yeah, it explains to you how to play, shows you where your lives up at the top, initial how enemies come to you. Talk about what is your line of defense. Talk about the soul, which is how you buy enhancements in the game. Then shows you that actually starts, your node starts moving around. And the way that you move it is by dragging, click and dragging up and down in this screen. So it's super easy. And you tap on the screen to turn one way or the other. And that's it. That's super simple dynamics of the game. So now we're starting.
That was a very, very profound tutorial. Really, this is going to be interesting. Playing with a mouse is.
Well, it's not a mouse exactly. It's a trackpad of my computer. But yes, definitely not the same. Now, the good thing about this, although it's not as comfortable as actually playing on the phone, it's definitely playable. So we are ready, and our idea is also to go in the near medium future to other platforms as well. So not just staying on mobile. The only thing that we need to figure out, which we started working on, of course, is how it would look better on landscape on like on a PC or Switch or those kind of platforms, or even the Apple TV. We've been playing around with that. So as long as we figure out that, we are coming to every platform out there. Also PC, maybe, because it's hard on the trackpad to like click and drag instead of your thumb, right?
Yeah, thumb makes it a lot easier. That's for sure.
So on PC or those kind of things, we were thinking about maybe changing as well the dynamic. Instead of click and drag, maybe it's just up and down on the keyboard, and just space for changing direction. I don't know.
That's always the tricky part. That's always the hard part is when you start talking about other mediums. I feel like mobile is so specifically designed for that mobile experience, and which is that kind of simple use. You've got a limited palette of tools that you can really do, which is like your thumb. You got the swipe. All those kind of things. So it kind of forces you in a little bit of a box there, but branching out some other platforms could provide some different experiences, some interesting things.
Which one do you want me to choose? There are two fun ones.
Let's do that. Put a ring on it. Offensive. Let's do that.
That will show us also a new way and more design. As you can see, of course. Oh, we have that new enemy as well.
Yep. Now you got bumpers coming, so now it just kind of changes because we don't want you to feel like you can just conquer it. So now you got a bumper that is going to be impenetrable, and now makes it a little bit trickier to hit those enemies.
Yeah, and I got unlucky enough that the bumper got right there. Well, I don't know if I'm lucky. Maybe it's even better. But it got right there on the line of the put a ring offensive.
Jan, you're just not doing so hot right now. You're getting worked.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard on the computer.
Well, and we want there to be
life. Yes.
Yeah, you got a free life there. We want there to be some level of difficulty in trying to do that. And I think that's what we've gotten a lot of feedback from people saying, hey, man, it is a little bit to get a hold to try to get a grip on. It's hard. But once you do it, I mean, it's so much fun. So
yeah, you can get used to it, and it gets a bit easier. Of course, maybe not in higher levels, but that's what enhancements are for, right?
yeah, that's it. That's why you have those enhancements. So you can actually.
Oof.
Oh, see, now we actually just used one of the enhancements. That was a free blast, which allows you to stop the enemies dead in their tracks, and now you can go after them. So that's, I think that's pretty cool. So, all right, well, that was a little bit about a little bit of gameplay. Maybe we'll come back to that, but we'll take people down to show a little bit of the artwork that we said we would.
Oh, I had a flare. Let me just show the flare.
Oh yeah, we got to show a little bit of the flare.
There's the flare. So let's just show it pretty fast. Oh, as you can see, also enemies are coming in different paths now. That's the flare right there.
Oh, you're gonna hit that one? Oh, you hit the one up top. That was a good shot.
Oh, I got another life as well. Okay.
Nice. So that's a little bit of our Nodeshifter gameplay. So you kind of have an opportunity to see that in action. So we'll take us back here to the to our quick little PowerPoint, and we'll kind of go through here. So we'll skip through this. You got a chance to see some of that gameplay, and again, we'll come back to that. But I wanted to highlight some of the art and how it evolved over time as we started working with the game. So you kind of have three different logos here of what we really wanted to work with. And the whole idea behind the artwork is we wanted to harken back to an 80s vibe with, of course, our modern kind of synthwave touch. So that's exactly what we did when we originally started. We kind of started working with this idea. We kind of started Tokyo shift kind of design palette, and then it kind of gradually evolved a little bit more and really started to become its own language. So you can see how the logo itself even evolved into this almost this like liquid metal feel and its own. We kind of gave it its own design language and its own text to really make it feel like it's there. So the other thing that we wanted to really show off was, hey, how do we make it feel like the arcade games that we used to play? I don't know about you, Jan, but I was a big gamer, as I was growing up, and things like Asteroids and some of those really simple games really, I think, called to us and said, "Oh man, how do we build a game that feels like that arcade style simplicity, but really has some fun synthwave elements?" So you can see some of the enemies here to the left. You can see all the different kinds that you could encounter, and there's more enemies in this, but we wanted to show off a few more. What was really cool, and I know, Jan, for you, it was quite a development challenge, was really figuring out the paths of those enemies so they're not all coming straight. Want to tell us a little bit about that?
That's just a little bit of math, doing all the different sine wave paths and stuff. But yeah, that was one of the first challenges that we had at the beginning while setting things up. Yep.
Well, who would have thought, doing math while being a developer, huh?
Yeah.
Rough work. So those are some of the enemies we've got. And each of the enemies also has not only do they have a different path, but they may have different speeds. That one enemy kind of in the middle to the left there actually has a shield that'll bounce off your node. So it forces you to engage that enemy differently. The little blue guy will freeze you. And so, again, you constantly have to figure out, how do I evolve my gameplay to match the different enemies that may show up? So, and we talked a little bit about those enhancements, in-game enhancements. And so this is kind of a myriad. We wanted to say, all right, well, what can you pull? And so we looked at a cartridge as your in-game enhancements. And so you can see a number of the different pieces of art that we wanted to shine. So clearly in the 80s, you did not have cartridges with these slick little, lighted images in the front, but we wanted to kind of give it that modern touch. So these are some of the enhancements that you can grab in game. I mean, I think we've got, what is it, Jan, 35 to 40 of them now?
I think I lost the count, but yeah, I mean, we are constantly adding them up, especially when our designer brings up these cool new concepts and logos. Well, and you as well, of course, like the ideas, and then just seeing them come up like this, I just love them.
Yeah. Oh, and they're really fun, and that's one of the things we want to do is we said, hey, if we want to really get down to like even the details should be fun. Just because it's a mobile game doesn't mean you can't try to really bring in some higher fidelity art and really make it interesting. So so these are all the different kind of cartridges and like I said, lots more, but that we could really bring in. The next piece I thought that was interesting as well, and again, really brings back that 80s vibe. If you remember, I guess 80s and 90s at this point was bring in the VHS tape as an actual permanent enhancement, whereas the cartridges were your temporary in-game for that roguelike feel. These VHS cassettes give you the permanent power-ups that allow every run to have a little bit of extra juice, a little bit of an extra power-up, so that you can do all kinds of different things. So when we created this, we really had a lot of fun. Our designer really, I mean, he was just loving this kind of stuff. I don't know, maybe he was bringing back some nostalgia in it. But you can see, they all have, based on their name, they all have that touch, that look. Medonix, for instance, is one that allows you to have additional lives when you start. Or Hypernode gives you the ability to have more speed on your actual node as it orbits. So we really wanted to have some fun with this. And when you go into the store, you can use the in-game currency, which is something we call SALT with 2 A's. So that in-game currency allows you to pick up these extra VHS cassettes to enhance your runs. So, and again, a lot of fun, a lot of effort and detail we really tried to put into this. So so that you could feel like yes, everything is earned, and it was so much fun to build. And finally, one of the new things we're really trying to bring in there is the game features a lot of really interesting, like synthwave, fun music. And so one of the things that we wanted to do, we said, hey, how do we bring in additional tracks so it's not just the one track, and how do we kind of give the user the ability to actually change their music? And so maybe it's the Grand Theft Auto moment, right? Like when you're in the car, you can change the radio. We wanted to be able to do the same thing in Nodeshifter, to be able to say, okay, well, while you're playing, you can quote unquote change the radio. And for us, instead of saying radio, we said you could kind of change the vinyl. Vinyls were still there, pretty strong in the 80s. So we've got these different vinyls now that we're going to be releasing in our next big build, where you'll be able to choose your music track, and you'll be able to actually have some really fun artwork that goes with each of these music tracks. So these are some of the tracks that we already have available. They're just not quite in game yet. We're gonna bring them in the next build, but you can see all of the artwork really plays to this synthwave, plays to this 80s, this fun, high fidelity colors, and just, I hate to say it, but like just that rad feel. So these are some of the vinyls that you'll be able to pick up, and you'll pick them up in the store as well. Be able to purchase them with the SALT, the currency, the in-game currency. We've got some others here. We actually the music that we found, we utilized a couple different artists that we were able to get some licensing from, and then we're going to put out a little bit of a contest for other musicians out there to be able to be a part. We'll design their artwork for them, and we'll feature their art in the game as as a vinyl you can pick up as well.
You make kind of like an announcement right there.
I know, man. That's a big announcement. So you can see some more of the artwork. We really we had a lot of fun creating this and really making it just had that feel. So, unfortunately, we've got
these are all completely like made from scratch specifically for the game. That's so great.
And the kind of the last piece we'll show, and I don't have a lot of the posters here, but we also wanted to produce some different art that would be a lot of fun for kind of promoting the game. So, I don't know about you, Jan, but I had a lot of posters in my room growing up. And so we said, all right, let's bring in some fun posters. Let's have a good time with them. And I don't know if we have any developers out there, but when you're developing a game and you're going through it's like a long haul. And so you almost have to like break up the tedious with some fun things. So I think this is what for our designer, it was like his kind of fun, goofy things to do. Love in the Time of the Warlock, just some really fun posters to kind of help promote the game. Yeah. That's just a little bit of, again, we wanted to highlight some of the artwork and really show off some of the things. So maybe, Jan, why don't you take it out with some more gameplay, show them the actual store, kind of show them the profile and how it plays out.
Let's do it. Did you put my screen yet?
I'm popping it up now. So we've got a couple minutes left and we'll just kind of show off some more of this. And
there we go. Okay, so this is the profile where you see your level, some stats that you have. This is also something that is not yet live, but working on it. Should come up on the next build as well. You can now actually have yet another reason to keep playing, competing with your friends, and see some leaderboards. So here is where you see the cassettes. These are the 3 cassettes I have already bought, and this is the one that I have equipped. Each one with its own little description. And the way that you buy more is through the store, which again, like some bit of 80s vibe, flashback, a little, hopefully some of you will remember the good old Blockbuster VHS store. Well, got some inspiration from there.
Yeah, ours is Block Thruster. That's what we call it. So we had a little fun with that. If legal from Blockbuster is around, we're so sorry. We kind of just went for it. So hopefully we're okay.
Yeah, I don't think they are. Hopefully they're not.
So I hate to say that Jan is actually doing this in his development environment right now. So this is a mobile game, so that's kind of why you can see the screen version. So for the last couple of minutes, why don't you show them a little bit of gameplay, kind of in action. It's a little harder on your computer, but
let's try to continue where I left off. I only have 1 life left, but at least I have some enhancements now, so who knows? Well, this is what happens when you're in development. The flare didn't kill a guy, but it doesn't matter. Hopefully.
So you can see, again, you've got all kinds, and as each of these levels progress, they'll get more difficult, much harder, and but you'll get enhancements that should really help you to be able to defeat them. So, in this situation, you can give them a freeze. Why don't you freeze everyone here?
There we go.
Now we can freeze them, so it'll give us the opportunity to come out here and smash those enemies before they really get to us. So.
You really had to time it, though, because I just froze them when they were outside of my reach, so I kind of lost that chance to really use it.
Well, and one of the things when we showed you guys, the art of creating these of some of the enemies. Oh, see, there's the enemy with the shield.
Yeah, he got me right there. Oh, I had to go the other way.
So one of the things we did is, even though the enemies are so small, kind of on your mobile phone, we really wanted to bring in that fidelity. We really wanted them to have a little bit of a story behind it and have their own distinct arcade style vibe. So that's what we went for everything. Wanted to give that feel, and that's kind of why we created that artwork.
No.
Well, that's actually the perfect time because it's kind of our time to end the stream here. But we wanted to say thank you guys. Our game is available right now in the iOS App Store. It's a lot of fun. It's a great game. Reach out to us at our handle at Twitter at Nodeshifter if you want to play it, check it out. Reach out to us. We're just normal guys that we do this on the side, and we all have boring day jobs at software companies, but we love doing this for fun. So we'd love to hear from you. Love to reach out and give us your feedback. If you're like, man, this sucks or this is great, let us know. We'd love to chat with you guys.
Yeah, so you can also, if you want to hear when the Android version comes out, just go to nodeshifter.com and you can sign up for our newsletter, and we'll let everyone know when Android is available there. And there's also some other social media in there if you don't like Twitter. So
all right. Well, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. And have a wonderful day.
See ya. Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys.